Is it actually easier to convince people of really huge, outrageous lies than small, sort of believable lies? Let's explore that a little bit here. Peter Navarro is or was an economic advisor to Donald Trump. He then was convicted of crimes and pardoned, and I guess he's back speaking for Trump. I don't know. He recently went on national TV and said something just extraordinary about the housing market. Now, you might be looking around, you want to buy a house, and you're saying to yourself, why are these houses so expensive? Or you might be looking around and you want to rent a house or an apartment, and you're saying, why are the rents so expensive? Well, Peter Navarro has an answer for you. And the answer is the same answer they have for everything right now. Yes, Biden and illegal immigrants. I wish I were kidding, but I'm not. He says all of the illegals renting apartments who came here under Biden have raised the cost of housing. If the arithmetic sounds a little bit off to you, well, maybe you've got a good head on your shoulders. Take a listen.
Payments and buried the lead. One of the biggest drivers, Charles, of rents, higher rents in this country is the 20 million illegal aliens that came in during 4 years of Joe Biden. It's 1 million illegals, 1% increase in rent. That's a 20% national increase, but it's clustered in the blue cities and blue states like New York. And ironically, we get the Mondamis of this world then
Mandami.
calling for socialist measures to solve a problem they created.
All right, so let's first you have to take this nonsense piece by piece. Maybe there is some simplistic appeal to it. 20 million illegals come in, rents up 20%, rent goes up 1% for every million illegals that come in. Now there's a few problems with that. Number one, even just to keep up with inflation, you would expect that there would be an increase to housing costs, just nominally in terms of currency adjusted dollars. That's number one. Number two, the actual numbers are that during the entire Biden administration, somewhere around 3.5 million people entered the country illegally. Now, of course, you have to subtract out of that the ones that left, the ones that were deported from prior inflows, and also the percentage of the 3.5 million that at some point came in illegally that also left. And the housing costs did not go up 20% while Biden was president. It was more like 16%. So first of all, even if you acknowledge the concept, you would have to completely change the numbers altogether. But the problem is that the entire concept is completely made up. There is no economic research that shows this relationship between immigration and rent increases. Economies don't work that way. Housing markets certainly don't work that way. Now, more people in the aggregate can certainly mean more demand for housing. That part is not controversial. But economists who study this stuff consistently find that immigration plays a very small role in raising housing costs compared to the real drivers of rent increases and housing costs going up. They're boring. The real explanations are boring. It's much cooler to go 1 million illegals, 1% housing goes up. The truth is, we aren't building enough houses. And by the way, a lot of the immigrants that are coming in that Navarro says are the problem are working in construction, trying to build more houses. The reason we're not building enough houses includes zoning restrictions. We saw interest rates dissuade some from buying or building. People moved to a more limited number of metro areas all at once after the pandemic. That caused some localized housing price increases. All of those forces and others are much better explanations for why housing prices are up rather than Navarro's cartoon math. Now, there's also something else that is conveniently left out of Navarro's analysis, which is that undocumented immigrants do not typically show up and start bidding against you for luxury apartments or single family homes. Many of them are living in shared housing that is already, someone is already renting it. And maybe it's a 4-bedroom where there are 6 people sleeping in each bedroom and they are rotating through as they go and work. I mean, these are the circumstances in which a lot of people are living. That's not really going to change much if you add or swap out one person that's bunking in this house. There's also a lot of immigrants living in multi-generational homes, informal arrangements. And again, a lot of them are doing this to work in construction, the very industry that needs more housing supply. So the idea of immigration, especially undocumented immigration, causing a massive spike in rent doesn't hold up. What is happening here is that there is political scapegoating going on. Rent is expensive. That's true. People are angry about it, and deservedly so. Trump's allies grab a real issue and they scapegoat a familiar villain. This is why the populist rhetoric can be misused so often. I've given this example before. I'll give it again. You hear Tucker and Bernie talk about the problems that big corporations have brought down on American society and how the middle class is getting screwed. If you don't ask them about solutions or who is to blame at the end of the day, Bernie and Tucker will sound kind of similar as they diagnose the problem. As soon as you ask them for solutions and the scapegoats come out, you hear one idea from Bernie, and from Tucker you hear, well, immigrants are making the country dirtier and poorer, which is a quote of something that Tucker Carlson said before. And so they are looking for scapegoats. And we've seen this trick over and over again. You take a complicated economic problem, you remove all the nuance, and you say, who can I blame for it? Maybe it's Somali Americans in Minneapolis. Maybe it's undocumented immigrants in Miami and Fort Lauderdale or whatever it is. It's easier than admitting the real problem, which is that American housing has been broken for a long time. Neither party has fixed it. And this is part of why these ideas spread so quickly. They're meant to feel true and be emotionally salient. And if we want rent to come down, Navarro's explanation isn't going to help. And just think about it. We have been doing a mass deportation campaign for the last year. What direction have rents gone? They've gone up. The border is closed, we've been told. No one's getting in. Trump goes, there were zero undocumented. So wait, the border's been closed for almost a year. We've deported however many undocumented immigrants we've deported under Trump. And rent keeps going up. The last year of Trump directly undercuts what Peter Navarro is saying. But you know, it's better to have some slogan and for Peter Navarro to give us somebody to yell at. That works much better for him.